Hi, my name is Nigel. This is my 1996 Volkswagen Cabriolet. It's not uncommon to see people modify the Golf and Jetta version of these, and occasionally see somebody who will modify the Cabriolets. This one's a bit more unusual and therefore a bit more of a sleeper because not only does it have the VR6 engine in it, six-cylinder engine with a very narrow angle, shares a common cylinder head as opposed to a traditional V6 where you have two cylinder heads and a very wide degree angle between them. So it's VR6, 5-speed standard, and then it's also been converted to all-wheel drive. This is a fairly rare all-wheel drive system that we received only in Canada. It's called Synchro, and it has a similar effect to the Haldex that's in the more modern cars, usually marketed under the label 4Motion, and on some of the more inexpensive Audi models under their Quattro system. But this one here uses a viscous coupler that sits essentially underneath and to the center of where both passengers in the rear would sit. It's a viscous coupler in that if it's just fluid filled, it acts like a torque converter, an automatic transmission. And how it works is if there's a difference in wheel speed, so if these wheels start to accelerate and spin faster than the rear wheels, then the viscous coupler, the fluid in there and the plates, that fluid starts to essentially act as a solid and put up to about maybe 30-40% of the power to the rear wheels. It doesn't put as much power to the back as the Haldex, but it also doesn't utilize any sensors. It's entirely mechanical. There's no yaw sensor, there's no steering angle sensor, there are ABS sensors in the car, but there's no traction control in this vehicle. So yeah, so this little 96 Cabrio that I affectionately call Leonardo. There's a lot of stereotypes associated with this car, so I consider driving around a Leonardo DiCaprio I don't know, it's just a fun way of making fun of all the stereotypes associated with this vehicle. So yeah, VR6 all-wheel drive, built in 1999 for a magazine. It was built as a partnership between Denon Performance and Momentum Motorsports. Momentum Motor Parts still exists and Denon still exists. Because there's not very many Synchros in North America, it was really hard to find suspension for this. The front is the same as any front-wheel drive VR6, but the rear is substantially different. So I ordered a kit from the UK, and that gave me, I wanted to go with Bilsteins. I didn't want necessarily the height adjustability. I wanted the ride quality and the build quality of the Bilstein suspension. So I got the Bilstein Sports, which I think is the B8. And it just made the car handle a lot better. Upgraded a lot of bushings in the front end with the PowerFlex bushings from the UK. Redid the exhaust system as well. Replaced the heater core. This car was sold to me not running, and I lost track of this car. I used to work at Denon Performance when in 1999 when this car was built, and I remember going for a ride in it and just being completely blown away by its performance and just how much fun it was. And obviously the intake and exhaust note on the VR6 are pretty intoxicating. It's pretty hard to stay out of the throttle for any length of time if this is the sort of thing that tickles your fancy. I lost track of the car probably for close to 10 years, and then it popped up again. Gentleman bought it, and I saw him, and then he subsequently stopped by my house a couple of times just asking for advice on the vehicle, and thankfully I maintained that relationship with him, because when this car just became less financially interesting to him or less enjoyable to drive, and just a lot of the age-related issues that any car experiences as it gets older, he sold it to me. I fixed a lot of that stuff, and now it's a pretty good daily driver. It's fun. It sounds fantastic. It handles pretty good, and it really is a shock to some people on the road when you are able to, put power down in snow or in rain. Where most of these vehicles would be sliding around or just unable to accelerate with any sort of authority. So Yeah, any other unique stuff? Leather interior from a GTI, Momo, bits and pieces on the interior of the steering wheel and the shift knob. Other than that, yeah, just a lot of time and effort put into it, and it's a pretty nice result. Needs a few details taken care of, but other than that, it's a lot of fun to drive. With anything, when you upgrade the power, we decided, or the people that built it, put the driver's edition brakes on, so that's quite helpful to have not only discs front and rear, which I think most cabbies came with, but also to have the larger diameter rotors and the slightly different brake caliper that comes with the driver's edition, aside from that fancy red color, which it came stock. I didn't paint it that color. Other than that, that's pretty much it for me, so let's head over to the driving shots and we'll go from there.
Hi, I'm Nigel's friend Michael, and I thought I'd give another perspective on this car. So I'm going to share my 3 favorite things about Nigel's Cabriolet. The first is that it feels like a cohesive package. It feels like a proper car, not something that's just been cobbled together. So yeah, it feels really solid, and you could drive it daily. You know, there's it's a solid car that you could daily drive for sure. The second thing is that it's a bit of a sleeper, and I love sleepers. This thing will pull off the line faster than my FRS, and then quite happily keep up with it the rest of the way.
Until there's a corner.
Maybe until there's a corner, yeah. But it surprises a lot of people. It's really fun and definitely quicker than you might expect. But then the absolute best thing about this car is the sound. It just sounds awesome, which is a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is that it sounds so great. The bad thing is that you could get into a lot of trouble. I drive this a lot faster than my FRS because it just sounds so great when you open it up. So, you know, I gotta. Oh yeah, that's good. Oops.
Oh
God. That wasn't very good. I think Nigel mentioned that. So yeah, sounds awesome. That's about it, so we'll hand it back over to Nigel.
So second gear's gone in its transmission. It grinds from first to second, so if you happen to hear that, it's just a typical problem with putting the wrong fluid in the gearbox, and first to second, the second gear synchro just grinds a little bit. You'll see as I leave here. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, and look forward to more content from us. You'll see some unique cars, and yeah, hopefully enjoy it. Other than that, have fun.
There's the grind.